Hey resellers, thanks so much for tuning into today's video. This is going to be a long video, but a really cool video about vintage clothing. So buckle up, get yourself something to drink, and you guys are in for a treat today. If you're new here, my name is Rachel. I buy used items largely, sometimes new, from thrift stores, yard sales, antique malls, auction houses, estate sales, just about anywhere I can get a good deal, and I resell those items for a profit. So I occasionally run into items I'd like to keep for myself, and you'll see that some in today's haul because I love vintage and I love vintage clothing. But today's haul, full disclosure, has a little bit of a unique twist to it. So in a recent video, I was encouraging you guys to source items for spring and summer and to consider your death piles first. That is that pile of inventory that you have in the corner that you were really excited about it when you first got it, and somehow the excitement faded and you went sourcing for other things and those items remain unlisted. Well, believe it or not, today's items, all 36 vintage pieces I'm going to show you that are super exciting, I have sourced from my death pile. We have had ice on the roads all week, which means I'm not going out to source. My kids have been out of school and we have 2 snowstorms coming up this week. So what's a girl to do? What's a reseller to do but to source from your death pile? All right, you guys want to see it? I'm going to tell you what I paid for these items, the type of place that I picked them up, why I picked them up, and maybe even on some of them what makes them vintage. So you'll find out what to look for in men's and women's vintage and clothing, accessories, purses, and shoes. So let's see what the first thing is. This first item that I have a pile of these 36 things. This first item I am still in debate about whether or not I will keep it or sell it. This bracelet is a snake. It's a really cool snake with a huge black gemstone here, and this is what you call metal mesh. Can you see that? Can I get a good focus there? This is a metal mesh, and this is from the most famous, in my opinion, company maker of any metal mesh purses, belts, or bags, and that is Whiting & Davis. When you find Whiting & Davis, write that brand down. It is a great brand to resell. Not all of their pieces have significantly high resale value, but if you love vintage items and you love finding a collector for vintage items, Whiting & Davis is something that you really wanted to get in the hands of someone that will truly love it. So this cool bracelet, I have a small Whiting & Davis and metal mesh collection, and I have considered just keeping this for myself. I did pay up for this item. I want to say I paid $20 for this bracelet, but this bracelet can sell for over $100. And I have had 2 occasions to wear this and still have not. That is why I'm considering selling it. If I haven't worn it, then maybe I should get it in the hands of someone else. As a warning on this particular bracelet, if I turn the snake's head over, do you see that diamond shape underneath his mouth? Like on the bottom part right here, that diamond shape inside says Whiting & Davis. It's kind of a diamond shape, and it's almost like a candy wrapper shape. It's a circle with 2 diamonds on either end. I'm getting a better camera this week, guys. Just a little spoiler alert there. There will be a video coming out about that, and you won't have to read things backwards on my channel anymore. But look for that to say Whiting & Davis, because this was right alongside a silver one that was very similar, that had the exact same shape, did not say Whiting & Davis. And believe it or not, there's counterfeits, because the more I looked at this snake, his mouth is actually open, and the other one, it just had that appearance and there was metal inside. So this item again will sell, if I decide to sell it, probably between $100 and $150, but I paid up at $20 for that thing, $20, $25. This next item, I actually bought these for my husband to see if he would like them, but the size wasn't good. So I did pay up for these. If you're sourcing vintage, then vintage cowboy boots have a pretty good following. I was watching a video recently. I'm trying to remember exactly whose video it was, where she was talking about the soles being stacked leather. I'm sorry, I can't remember who that was. If I do remember, then I'll tag that below in the details. But anyway, these particular boots, let me see what brand these are. Nocona, N-O-C-O-N-A. So men's and women's cowboy boots, I feel like can fetch a good amount of money. What you want to look for on the bottom, I always look for a nail head. I want them to know that the items are handmade or really well crafted. You can see these were $12. I would not typically have paid that for even vintage cowboy boots, but like I say, I wanted to source these for my husband. They didn't end up working for him. So I thought if they didn't work for him, they would make a good resale. Check the toes on cowboy boots. I would be happy to get somewhere between $50 and $60 for these. You guys know I always aim at 10 times my money, but I just don't think I'm going to get $120 plus for these. So a really cool pair of vintage cowboy boots there. The next item that I want to talk about is vintage denim. I love, love, love vintage denim. I have sold, oh, I don't know, it has to be close to 100 pairs of vintage Levi's, and I don't have a single pair in my store right now. They always sell. I do not have to sit on vintage Levi's, and they generally sell around $30 a pair. So I paid $2 for these Levi's. These are Levi's 550, which I find more 550s than any other style. These are short. I always find short also. Size 12 regular short, 550. When I'm sourcing Levi's, I talk about this a lot anytime I ever show you guys vintage Levi's. I'm looking for paper tags. That's important to me. 100% cotton is important to buyers, and made in the USA is important. Even in some vintage, and even if the tag is paper, I sourced some the other day that were made in Pakistan, and these are, let me tell you where these are made at. These are made in Puerto Rico. And then it says made in Puerto Rico, and then in parentheses it says USA. So these are paper tags. Believe it or not, Levi's are counterfeited as well. Pardon me. Still getting over this cold, you guys. But the way to tell whether or not a pair of Levi's is counterfeit is, again, that camera's going to help out tremendously. You guys will be able to focus, and that won't be backwards. That says 918 when it's not backwards. And you can reference that with the number on the back of the front button here. Also says 918. That's the factory code. Factory codes 500 or less usually denote made in the USA. So if you flip it over and it's a 5 something, you almost always have a pair of made in America vintage Levi's. So these are great women's high-waisted. Tags on jeans like this might be mom jeans, high-waisted. I don't feel like everyone says mom jeans anymore. Taper leg, high-waisted being your biggest one, I would say. But these are in phenomenal, almost brand new condition. Like I say, I paid about $2 for those. Keeping with vintage denim, I found this at a church yard sale. This is really, really cool. The brand on this, let me just show you. This is a really cool denim jacket. This is not a brand I had heard of. It says Tough Nut, T-U-F-N-U-T, with the U on tough and nut being just one long piece. And it says sanforized there. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but that is a pre-shrunk denim. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Lee came out with it first and then Levi's came out with it, maybe vice versa, but that was really a big deal in vintage denim. So that is a keyword for this. It has a zipper front, and look at the back of this. Just really, really beautiful. If you get around enough vintage denim and 100% cotton denim, you're going to be able to see the difference, and you can look at a rack of denim and pick out those pieces that are 100% cotton versus the denim of today, which is more of like, you know, it has spandex and things blended in with it. This denim is beautiful. I can spot it from across the thrift store, and I'm going to check it out every time. I would imagine with the detailing, the stitch detailing and the hardware on this piece, this has a talon zipper. Talon zippers are a big deal when you're sourcing vintage clothing. You want to know about certain zippers. So Talon is definitely a vintage zipper. I'm going to say that this is from the 70s. If you know anything about this particular brand and you feel like that's off, let me know. But late 70s, early 80s would be my best assumption. Whew, I'm going to have to go faster. This video will be 7 hours long. This piece is wool. I'm a sucker for women's wool items. This is a wool dress. Sorry that I don't have a better view for you here, but I want to show you this beautiful bow here on the front, and she has rhinestones. A few of the stones are missing, But this piece is so gorgeous. I want my friend Heather to model this because it's teeny, teeny, tiny, and so is she. The brand is Carlisle on this. I will probably only get $25, $30 for this. I may start it closer to 40. I don't mind if I sit a little bit. This again has a Talon zipper, and I paid $2 for this, and I wanted to save it. I love vintage wool. So wool is another material, just like really good denim, that you can learn wool and you can spot it from a mile away and know exactly what you're after. You'll see some more wool in this haul. This is a little purse. Tapestry bag would be a good keyword for something like this. This is an acrylic or possibly even celluloid. Things that maybe they look like they're plastic, but you can tell it's not quite. Look up celluloid and start to research that so you can use that as a keyword. This will probably net me less than $20, probably less than $15. This came in an auction lot, so I didn't buy it. It came with, you know, some a box of things, basically. I didn't pick this out, but really cool little piece there. I can say I probably would consider picking this up. And I might also, you know, say coin purse, kiss lock, sewing even, like a little sewing bag. You could put an emergency sewing kit in there. This next piece was given to me by one of my best friends. This is a Jonathan Logan brand dress. There are lots of dresses that are listed Jonathan Logan right now, but not very many that have sold, but most of them listed are between $50 and $60. This piece is beautiful. She had bought this for herself and just never ended up wearing it. This is phenomenal. I think that this would fit me, so I will probably model this in the listing. I would say if you're going to list women's vintage clothing, always consider putting that on a model, a dress form, something like that. It's always going to look better than if you just hang it. So you can see this beautiful paisley print, and the zipper on this is Talon once again. So we're definitely seeing a trend with the Talon pieces. Check out these men's shorts. You guys, you think I can get my husband to model these? These are Swingster brand, which is a brand that you will see a lot in men's vintage hats, jackets, any type of athletic apparel. Really, really cool made in America companies. So these are like basketball coaches shorts, have a little pocket in the back here. I paid $1 for these, and I'm hoping to get probably about $25 for these. Really, really cool. And to answer my own question, there's not a chance that my husband's gonna put these on and model them for me. Although some of his running shorts are about that short. All right, next up I have a men's belt. I paid $2 for this. That probably looks like a 6 to you because it's backwards. That new camera's coming. And so this belt, this is a burned and carved and tooled would be the word I'm looking for, tooled leather. Anytime you see tooled leather, be it in purses or bags, I pick it up. You do not have to wait for someone named Glenn to wear this belt. I actually bought this and wore this myself until I found one with my dad's name on it. And he had a belt like that whenever I was a kid. Hey Dad, I know he's watching. And I loved it. So I'm going to sell my Glenn belt. I think it's gorgeous, and I'm going to keep the one with his name on it. So pick up tooled leather. It always, always does well. And for tooled leather, you may use keywords like boho or hippie or 70s or, you know, anything like that. I think that's the crowd that you're probably looking to draw in. These shorts, I bought these shorts forever ago, you guys, and I'm embarrassed that I have not listed them. The original Red Camel is the brand on this first pair, and let me see if they're the same brand. I don't see the brand on the second pair. Look at these shorts. Listen. Did you hear that? That's the elastic. So I'll have to disclose that the elastic is a little dry in these. These are so cool though. I think these are amazing. Bright yellow. Look at the details here. They are pleated. So I picked these up because the price was right and the look was right. I paid $1 a pair for these, I'm sure. And look at this pair. Oh my gosh. Are you guys ready for this? I'm definitely modeling these. Let's see what the zipper is on the yellow pair real quick. The zipper brand is YKK. So, you know, it's a good brand if they have YKK zippers in there usually. And this one, the zipper brand is GUN, gun. Look at these. Are you ready? Those are rhinestones on the pockets. They are long. They have these little pockets, I guess. It's like a built-in fanny pack. Does the belt loop go all the way through? Oh, it doesn't. I was hoping you could put a belt through there. These are so cool. And those little fanny pack pockets, there's 2 on the back too. Yeah, I'm modeling these. There's not a chance I'm not going to. And look at these, guys. With a crop top? Yes. These are so cool. What size are these? I hope I can model them. They're a size small, but like they look roomy enough. I think I can get my butt in those. This next piece, again, wool. Very, very heavy though. Do calculated shipping or make sure what size box that you're going to use. This is a wool coat. I bought this for me. I don't wear it often enough, and so I decided to sell it, and I'm sure that I paid about $2.50 maybe for this. The brand is Eastwood Place, so nothing immaculate about the brand. It's a size 10, and it says 100% pure wool. So the fact that this is vintage and wool is what's going to make it a good seller. That would be something to look for. This is a long women's coat, and this coat probably weighs 5 or 6 pounds. So consider that. Definitely consider if you are listing a coat like that over on Poshmark, because recently I had to buy an upgraded label and it was an extra $4.50 just for 1 extra pound. So if you're listing something over 5 pounds, consider it. Okay, this next piece, this is a men's suit. The brand is Curlee, C-U-R-L-E-E. This suit came, I paid 50 cents for this, if you can believe that. 50 cents for, there's matching pants in here as well. And let me just show you. Let me move my coffee so I don't get that on there. How cool is this suit? Let me show you the pattern on this. Really cool. I would say 80s on this. I don't want to go so far back as to say 70s on this. But this is a beautiful men's suit. So I like this wooden hanger that this is on too. You know, it was worth the 50 cents just to get this with the hanger, in my opinion. Because that hanger is really cool for photography, for photographing your clothes. So anyway, I digress. This suit was 50 cents. And even if I end up getting 20 or 30 bucks out of it, because it's not really a brand, like a big brand. This next one is though. I have another men's suit. These just draw me in, guys. I feel like if you've looked at enough vintage clothing, the pants just fell off. If you've looked at enough vintage clothing, you can see, again, a suit like this from across the store, and you know it is vintage. Guess what brand this is? Levi's. How cool is that? A Levi suit. No, it's not denim. If anything, it's like a chambray style. And there are pants to go with it. I wish that the pants had like a red tab on them, but it's not that line of Levi's. But isn't that so cool? Levi's Panatella Sportswear. It's backwards. Until next week. Anyway, so these are really cool. Again, another tell that it was vintage was the paper tag. I'm hoping to get between $40 and $50 for this suit, and I bought it on the same day as the other suit when they were clearancing out so many items that it was just 50 cents. I was like, the whole suit is 50 cents, so I picked up those two. I don't list it or sell a whole lot of men's suits, but for 50 cents, I can make some money on those. You see a lot of people talk about women's lingerie, nightwear, things like this that are vintage, and I feel like you can find them at the thrift store all the time. This is a beautiful little nightie. I will probably only get $12 to $15 shipped for this, but it's just so pretty. There's a butterfly detail here. I don't even see a tag, but if you don't see a tag here, always check the side seams on vintage clothing, but I don't see one on the side seams either, so I will definitely measure this and provide measurements to prospective buyers on this piece. But it is just really super good quality, you guys. So I paid $1 on that. I'll make the 10 times my money, but I'm not going to get rich on that piece. I bought it the same day. It actually goes with this piece. I forgot about that. I forgot about my own. We're still going to say 36 items, okay? But technically it's 35 because these two are going together because look, it has the same butterflies. So I think this goes over the top of that. This is the little house coat, and this is going to help me to size it because it says right here, JCPenney's Mrs. Robe, size small, and tells me machine wash it. So I feel like the more that you source, this has buttons that go all the way down, and there's satin covered buttons as well. Really good things to look for here. I feel like more that you source vintage clothing, you'll start to become more and more familiar with the fonts that are certain decades. Like I can look at this and tell you by the font that's late 80s, early 90s. That's my impression anyway. I can look at a font and tell you, oh, that's vintage, that XYZ is from the 50s. You just, like, there are certain fonts that are really popular now, and 50 years from now, people will be able to look back and say, oh, that font is from the early 2000s, you know, or 2020s, or, you know, whatever. I had to grab my coffee. All right, next item here. I bought this, and I may alter it. I have some art projects going on with some vintage clothing. You guys that know me know I'm, like, really artsy, and I found this women's vintage Pendleton blazer. This is so beautiful. I wish that you could see the color better that this truly is. This is a very, very hot pink. Let me show you. Maybe this magenta will show up. This is beautiful though, and Pendleton wool sells well for me. Sometimes it sits for a little bit, but we all know, I feel like as resellers, that Pendleton is a good brand. If you don't, I will tell you that, especially Pendleton blankets, Pendleton blanket items. This has another paper tag. You just don't see paper tags like that in modern clothing, so if you see something like that, it's probably worth looking at. This says dry clean only, but I think that this again is gonna become part of an art project for me, and I paid $1 for that. This is up Will's alley. Here's some Tampa Bay Buccaneers item. I sourced this in South Florida at a little thrift store. This is a size large, so that's a kid's large. A 14-16, says USA lineup, made in the USA. And then if you are sourcing vintage t-shirts, it is important to determine whether or not it's kid size or an adult size. And one thing to look for, you can look for dates at the bottom of the graphic here. But then you also want to see, is it 100% cotton? And look at the sleeve here. See on the edge of the sleeve here, I wish I had a piece here. I have this piece. This is just your typical modern. You would see 2 stitches here on a piece of clothing, but on these vintage items, when you hear the word single stitch, you see how there's just one line there? There's just one line. That is a single stitch. On the inside, there's still 2 lines, but that is a more durable stitching, and that is what makes this vintage t-shirt worth picking up. So I paid 50 cents for this, and I will probably only get about $12 or $15 for it because it's a kid's size. So kids vintage clothing does sell, but I feel like it's more the dress clothing. You know, little girls fancy frilly dresses, you can get $100 or more for full circle lace little girls dresses from the 80s. But and little boys dress clothes, you know, similar. But you know, vintage t-shirts, they kind of sit for a little bit, so you're looking at usually less than $15. This piece, I believe I wore this for a little bit and cleaned my house in it. It says Vicky Vaughn. I got this at the Goodwill Bins in St. Louis, Missouri, and look at this. Oh my gosh, guys, there's pockets. This is a dress. So gorgeous. This is beautiful. I may need to try this on and consider keeping it again. I have a blue one. The blue one is the one that I cleaned my house in because I was just like, let's see if there was anything to walking around cleaning like this. So this, I would say, is going to be from the 70s, and once it buttons up, these contrast buttons are on the outside. This is beautiful. Check for staining or anything. There's a few things on here, but no stains. This is obviously missing a belt, so you'll want to talk about that in the listing if you find something like this. And I hope to get probably around $30, maybe 30 to 40. We'll see. If it fits and I can model it, maybe I can get a little more out of it. I can model it like next to a vintage vacuum that I don't own. I do have a vintage toaster. Maybe I could be a main toast or something. Because I have a cordless Dyson, and that's just gonna like mess with the whole flow, right? All right, let's see. This next piece, I bought this before I ever resold, and I just don't have, I've worn it a couple times. I don't have anywhere else to wear it, and so I believe I'm going to sell it. But I wanted to show it to you guys because you're bound to come into some handmade pieces on occasion. This is a very long handmade dress, okay? Now, on the back, it has this beautiful cape on one side here. This is handmade from the 70s, and I added, for what I needed it for, I added all of these little rhinestones to this applique belt. So that would be a good keyword here, applique. And here is something in vintage vintage handmade clothing is you're not going to find any tag. This was handmade, and this was handmade for one girl, and so you're not going to find any tags. You're not going to have a manufacturer name, you know, no branding, and you're not going to have a size. So if you come across something like that, let me take this off the hanger just to show you some of the details that tells me that this is handmade. On the inside here, you can see the stitching and everything. Just that, look, somebody snipped this. You have some loose threads and things. You can see the exact construction of this garment on the inside and the sleeve. This is a beautiful piece. This one I will probably price up because I wouldn't mind keeping it around in my closet just in case I do find somewhere else to wear it. I think this is gorgeous, but I can tell you she was a little more petite than me because the sleeves are a little short and there is a little bit of a stain here. I think one of the times that I wore this, I actually pinned this up underneath and it kind of looked like a bubble skirt, but it made it a lot shorter. So this piece is phenomenal. I would probably aim at getting closer to $80 out of a piece like that. This piece is really cool. I am modeling this. Tell me if you would have picked this up. I want to know in the comments if you would have picked this up. Look at this top. There are pants underneath, red pants that match this, okay? The pants are just basic, but the top has a cowboy lassoing some horses, okay? And then this beading here, this is so cool. Paper tags, says made in the USA, no brand whatsoever. Tell me, would you have picked this up? Red pants underneath to match. This was with the Halloween costumes this past fall at my thrift store, and I think it's the coolest top ever. I don't know, you guys. I feel like someone's going to have to buy that for me. Like, I kind of want to keep it. I'm really in debate about keeping this, and I think I want $70 out of it. $70 would make me part with this. What do you think? When you're picking up vintage clothing, it may not be your style. So I know many of you are probably like, ooh, barf. But let me just tell you that there's someone that's going to love it because I love this and it does fit me. So I don't know. What do you think? Do you like to pick up things that aren't necessarily your style in hopes of finding whose style it is? This piece, you guys know I love turquoise. I think turquoise is really cool to style vintage clothing also. And this belt, beautiful. My keyword here would be Western. I just picked this up for $3. Oh, I didn't tell you on the outfit that was with the Halloween costumes, that was like $2.50. So this was $3. This is 100% genuine leather. It does say that there. It says large. I don't know exactly how vintage this is. I feel like it's definitely pre 2001, which is vintage now. That's another good tip. Anything pre like 2001 is vintage now. 20 years or older is vintage. So it has very heavy buckles on it, and I just think this is so beautiful. I love Western style vintage. I love turquoise, and I really love eclectic. So this has turquoise all the way down. It is very, very heavy. So yeah, and the buckle does come off on this. I think I may keep it because I have a Corvette belt buckle that I need a belt like this for. It's like a velvet, like a suede leather too. I don't know. What do you think? Should I keep this? I'm keeping a lot of this vintage clothing. I need to sell it. Sell it, sell it, sell it. My husband's going to watch this and he's going to be like, you're keeping how much? All right. This next outfit here, and I say outfit, guys, this is so Hollywood glam and fabulous. Let me just show you. This nightgown, vintage women's nightgowns, you guys, hear me on this, okay? Look at the bust line of this. Is gorgeous lace. Look how beautiful that is. This nightgown is long, long. Look how long this is. It's full length. It is so gorgeous, so beautiful. And look, if that wasn't cool enough, if Tara's watching, she's going to be like, oh my gosh, I have to have that because she loves sets like this. I got the matching robe. Guys, and the matching robe, look at the sleeve. Lace at the bottom, tulle. This is so pretty. Would you have picked this up? Because I think I could get like close to $100 for this set. And I paid $250 for it. Vintage clothing. Stop picking up J. Crew, okay? Stop picking up Free People. And what other brands are so many people going nuts over? And I just have no luck with them. Maybe you do have luck with them, but vintage to me, the stuff that they're not making anymore, that's where my money's at. I have 2 men's vintage sweaters. I've seen some girls on Poshmark making bank on some, I'm sorry, but ugly men's vintage sweaters like this. Mainly acrylic. If you see, Coogie obviously is a really big brand. One of these, I think this one may be McGregor. No, it's not. It's Pronto Uomo, made in Italy. So I had 2 reasons to pick that up because it seemed like a finer quality. I'm going to use Cosby as a keyword and list these 2 men's sweaters. Here's a screenshot, a thumbnail for the video. All right, but anyway, these were, I paid $2 a piece for these. Again, see, it's not my style. Where the red outfit might not have been your style, that is not mine. One thing to look for is made in America vintage basics. So jerseys, Hanes, Fruit of the Loom. Jerseys made in America, I feel like has a pretty good following. There are different materials in the fleece on the inside here, and some people that are allergic to fleece can only use this. So most of them are a 50-50 cotton. That is 50% cotton, 50% polyester, made in the USA. So this was $1, and I will probably get somewhere in the neighborhood of $20 for that. We're coming to the end, you guys, I promise. This piece was actually given to me by a coworker, along with a lot of items that she tried to sell, and then she just wanted them out of her hair. And when people know what you do, sometimes they call and, you know, hey, come pick up this lot of stuff. This was in there and is vintage. It's so beautiful. You know how I feel about vintage pageant wear and formal wear. The brand on here is Nightline, N-I-T-E. And then in the middle there it says Line. This is a size 8, 100% polyester. And this is beautiful. I'll probably get $30, $35 for this. I could see something like this selling over on Poshmark, but it may potentially sell on eBay. This is another item that I feel like is going to look better modeled than it would just hanging up. So you can see how sparkly this is, especially under these lights. That's beautiful. If you guys want any of these items, if there's anything that I talk about that you want before I put it up on my eBay, I'm going to try to get this entire haul listed in the next couple days probably over on my eBay, but let me know if there's something in here, and I'll work out a good price with you. This beautiful bag, I bought this at an auction. You can see this handmade detail here. It is kind of a wicker, I'll probably use wicker beach bag. I just thought this was so Golden Girls. Maybe that's a keyword that I should use. How fun is this? I have to get this up before spring starts. Spring, floral, all the keywords for this one, right? And on the inside, it's a little dirty inside, and it has this plasticky lining. So another reason that I thought it might make a really good beach bag. But this is beautiful. So I'll probably aim at around $30, maybe even $40 on that. I have some vintage women's gloves. I bought these again before I was a reseller, and I pulled them out of my closet and threw them down here in the death pile, and here they sit. I need these today since it's like 6 degrees below zero. These are so pretty, you guys. I could just wear these gloves and take this purse, and this is how I'm going to go buy my bread and milk preparing for our snowstorm at Walmart. I can only imagine how people would look at me, but these gloves probably won't be a huge seller. I saw the Nurse Flipper. I'll tag her down below also. She has a really cool channel, but she was just talking about vintage gloves and how the leather ones do better for her than just basics like this. And I don't think these have any tags in them. Again, I didn't buy them for resale. They do have a tag. These are, maybe they're a good brand that'll do something. Max Mayer and Company, and they're a size large. 100% nylon, so that's going to be good because you can't find a whole lot of nylon. I know in vintage women's hosiery, if you find 100% nylon, or even in the scarves, that is good. So maybe I'll get a little bit more than what I'd hoped for on those. I have 2 pair of vintage Levi shorts. These are a size 11 junior, and the factory code is 5. Guys, what did I say about the 500s? Made in the USA. So here's one pair of shorts, and then I have a second pair here. These are very similar. These are a size 13 junior. Factory code is a 977, and on the back the button. It matches $9.77. Assembled in Guatemala. If it's over 500, I'm telling you, it's almost always not made in America. So I'm wrapping it up. I promise we have very few items left here. This is so cool. If this fit me, I would model it. I need, again, my tiny friend to model it for me, because this is a vintage size 8. Now, I do denote in some of my listings, vintage sizing runs smaller than modern sizing. Please consult photos for measurements. You might want to start putting that in your listings. This is the softest leather skirt. It is so beautiful, this pencil skirt. But since it's a vintage size 8, I just don't think it's going to fit me. I am like a modern 8'10", so maybe I could make this work and try to model it, because I think it needs to be modeled. It's so beautiful. I sold a long maxi one for about $40. I'd hope to get at least that out of this. This is like super soft. I mean, it almost feels like a lambskin type of leather or something. Let me find the tag here. It says, it just says leather, 100% leather, made in the USA. So, beautiful, beautiful. This is a YKK zipper, so it's a good brand, but not, you know, this is probably, what, 90s, would you say? Judging from Sienna collection. I'm going to say 90s on this. Really cool. I have a couple pieces here that you guys may have seen before. This is a pair of Lee jeans. These are men's. I mentioned these in another haul that I wanted to, my husband to possibly wear these. They didn't end up fitting that great. But these are beautiful men's Lee denim. That is another brand that I will pick up all the time. I have 2 more pair of men's vintage denim. These are orange tab. Don't be afraid of Levi's orange tab. And a lot of the times that's 70s. And you'll see different colors on these labels. That does not make it inauthentic. Always know what to look for. Know the bat wing here to look for. Know your factory codes to look for. These are 536, so these are definitely made in America. Beautiful, dark, I mean almost perfect condition on these guys. I will probably get, now men's jeans I do in the 30s. Like women's jeans, it's around $30, but men's jeans I can sometimes get closer to $40. These are vintage Wranglers, and I had these in a video recently, and one of my friends messaged me and said that she was in the buckle and they had Wranglers for like $150. So now's the time for me to get these listed, right? But I wanted to show you those 3 because those are 3 brands that I'm always going to pick up if they're at a good price. Those were $2 a pair. Vintage Wranglers, Lee, and Levi. And I have these I showed you recently in a haul as well. They are going up on my store. These are pinstripe Oshkosh men's overalls. And there was a lot of people that messaged me about these and thought these were amazing when I showed them in my video. I think they're pretty amazing too. I can tell you my husband is a 32 and they fit him really, really well. So I may have him model these because he has this long beard that goes like halfway down his chest, and I just think he would rock these in a modeling. So men's overalls, these were $8, and again, usually outside of my comfort zone, but it was absolutely worth picking up. These are vest back, Oshkosh vest back for men or for kids. Pick it up when you see it because it sells really well. I can almost guarantee you I will get $100 for those or more. I have 1 item left. Is that it? That's the only thing I have left. You guys might maybe like, we have seen so much vintage clothing. Yes, that's it. These, let me double check the brand on these. Okay. I saw these and thought from the tassel here that they were Justin boots, and you may have too. They're very much that Western style that I love. These are not Justin, but the vintage Justin with the tassels here, I can easily sell for between $60 and $100. And these are Roy Cooper All-American made. So it says inside there, Roy Cooper. These are beautiful, you guys. They need, they are a stacked leather heel, so that'll be a keyword that I use. And they need some love and attention. So keep a good leather cleaner in your toolkit as a reseller. These were at a yard sale, and I sent my adorable son to go ask her how much she wanted for these, because he's an adorable kid. And she was probably like, son, those are women's. But she was like, $1. Because I don't like haggling with people at a yard sale, and I felt like they might give him a better price than they'd give me. So he said, how much are these boots? And she said $1, and absolutely I will pay $1 for these, because I will probably still get at least $40 for these. Roy Cooper, I will be running comps. I have not ran comps on these. So Yes, yes, yes. I love vintage, guys, because again, it's something that they're not making any more of. And so if people want it, they have to go source it secondhand. It's good quality. I would encourage you to source vintage for yourself. I love it. I have this really cool Levi's vest on. This is not vintage actually, but it definitely gives off those type of vibes. If you've been spying that and wondering if I was wearing vintage today, I actually don't have anything vintage on today. It's cold outside and I have to go get our milk and eggs and bread. I'm just kidding. We don't even eat milk or eggs. Fun fact, we're vegan. Anyway, so I do have to go get bread, and I hope you guys are all staying warm. I hope that you're staying very, very safe in the snowstorm, and I'm going to encourage you one more time to source your death pile if you're having trouble getting out right now, be it due to the pandemic, maybe your family is on quarantine, or maybe the roads, the travel conditions are not optimum. Source your death pile. I found all of this cool stuff out of my death pile, and traditionally you're never more excited about something than when you first find it. That treasure hunt has just happened. But I can tell you that pulling these items just to show you guys today made me excited about them in a new way. So I have 36 great items that are going to go into my store, and they're all going to be in a little vintage tote together in my inventory. So God bless you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I feel like you deserve a hug for watching a 40-minute video of mine. So bring it in, bring it in. You guys are the best. Thanks so much, and always remember, treat your business like your business.